Hello, this is Paul from Meter Coffee. Just wanted to quickly do a short video about how to make a cold brew with the Pipamoka, the Wacaco Pipamoka. It actually states in the manual quite well, how to do this, but I just wanted to quickly do one. I've never made one in this before, and I'm quite interested myself just to kind of see what it's like. It's a little bit of a longer process, obviously, because you need to leave it for 1 to 2 hours and then, to go back to it. So I'm a little bit curious how that would work in regards to a normal cold brew taking like 24 hours for that to work. So this is quite interesting for me also. So yeah, the state in the manual that you need 2 scoops of 16 grams of ground coffee, and your water obviously is 200 milliliters up to the mark, the 3/4 mark in here. So we'll take the water chamber out and get that adjusted first. Obviously this is your normal way of doing your normal brew, so you need to take that out completely and just carefully take that out, twist it, okay, and then your control ring needs to go all the way to the bottom as opposed to all the way to the top like you normally would use that, and that sits in there like that. So that's ready. Your coffee, as I say, 16 grams. Now I've done this before when I've normally made a normal filter coffee with this, and this is kind of perfectly accurate for two scoops of this. So we'll just put the 16 just to make sure for people who are interested in that. This is fine grind coffee. It's not the most fine, but it works for the other Wacaco products like the Nanopresso and the Mini Presso. So this is okay. And we'll try it and see. If it's too fine, it'll take longer to go through. If it's not fine enough, then it'll be faster to go through, and that's obviously how it works. So let's just get this filled up. Okay. Right. Now, you don't have to tamp with these. They actually advise that also, that you don't tamp. So I usually just use the flat edge of a knife to scrape that off, and it works for me. Get any excess off there. Okay, and then put your lid on. That just pushes on like that. Okay, that's in securely. There's no excess around there. Right, now this, you just drop that into the bottom. There's no water in there, so that's just empty right now. Right, and we're filling this up to the 3/4 marks, which is this one here. So that's going up to that mark there with cold water. Okay. Right. Now this is, I wouldn't say this is particularly cold, this water. It's reasonably cold, but this is just for demonstration. So we'll use this right now, and I'm going to put that in there. And I'll turn this just so you can see this a little bit better. This is going up to the 3/4 mark. Okay, and that's there. Then they advise that you put some ice cubes in there. Now you can hear that's going through right now, so that's probably not fine enough. So you just leave that. And they say 2 hours, 1 to 2 hours. So we'll end this part here, and then I'll come back later in maybe an hour and see what's what. Okay. Okay. Just come back to check on the cold brew from the Pipamoka. It's been an hour, and just going to check on it, and I know for a fact that this has gone through. It's actually finished, and that's obviously down to the size of the actual grind size. So let me just get this lid off here carefully. I know that that's gone through, and I would say that went through about 10 minutes ago. So this grind size is obviously too coarse, and I just wanted to see if it would work with the grind size that I normally use for the Nanopresso, because that is a little bit on the coarser side than a fine coarse. And now this is the coffee. And you can kind of see here, it is a little bit on the coarse side, but this works okay with with the Nanopresso, if the coffee in the Nanopresso is too fine, it sometimes causes problems with the extraction. Pumping it can be sometimes a little bit of a problem. So I usually grind a little bit coarser, and Wacaco they actually recommend that also. You know, if you're having problems with extraction, adjust the grind size slightly, and I usually err on the side of going a little bit coarser. So that in here it's just too coarse, and that I would say didn't even last the hour. And for a cold brew, they do say you know, between 1 and 2 hours, and there's no way that's going to last 2 hours. It's just not. So I would say that was about 50 minutes, and that's gone through. Let me see if I can take this off without kind of spilling anything. Okay. Right. Now that there, let me just stand up there. Okay. You can see it's reasonably dark. I mean, it's got, without pouring it into a cup, it looks reasonable. I'll stop the video right now and I'll put this in a cup, and then we can kind of see what it looks like, how well it's actually extracted from that. It's obviously going to be a little bit under, because it didn't even last the full hour. But you know, this is just like a learning process, and you know, we can kind of move on from this and adjust it and then get it perfect. So this is the first time I've done this, and you know, I've learned a lot from this. Obviously the grind size is very important, and they do recommend a fine grind size. Now this is the coffee I had left over, so I just wanted to use this and see you know, what's going on. So in the future, obviously I'm going to grind that. I would say double that. I would say it needs to be quite, you know, considerably finer than that. That's just not going to do it. So there's a lesson learned there. So I'll stop this right now, and I'll go and put this in a glass or something we can see, and then see how dark it is and what the extraction is. Okay, this is the coffee, the cold brew from that. As you can see, it's not so bad, to be honest. It's obviously under extracted, because there's no way from 50 minutes that's going to be, you know, too flavorful or anything like that. But it's still not bad, considering it's, you know, the grain size is just not anywhere near what it's supposed to be, and it only lasted about 50 minutes before it was all kind of gone through and extracted. But to be honest, it's not the worst. I mean, I've not tasted this, but it looks okay, to be honest. And like I say, it can only really get better from that. I'm going to adjust the grind size and obviously go a lot finer, and then try and get it somewhere between maybe 1 hour and 2 hours, and see what it's like then. But to be honest, that's not a bad first attempt, and I'm gonna try it again and see. I'll taste this and see what it's like, and you know, honestly, that's okay. That's not so bad. It's got quite a bit of flavour. It's got some of the actual character coming through from the This is a Robusta. It's a Java Robusta. So it's going to be a little bit heavier than maybe an Arabica, but it's not bad. That's quite nice. If that was really cold, I would enjoy that. That's okay. But yeah, I'll try it. I'll try it again later and see. But that's not bad a first attempt. But there you have. That's a cold brew. Not a perfect cold brew, but Pipamoka cold brew with medium fine grind size. A little bit under extracted, but still quite tasty. But yeah, there you go.